Thank you very much, Yuri, and for your very warm welcome here. The Federal Trade Commission is the counterpart to the Anti-Monopoly Committee. It is a very proud relationship, and I should note that what I say today are my own and not speaking for the agency. What we have in common is a shared task of making sure that consumers benefit from the promise of free markets. We have a goal of making the economy more efficient in a way that rewards businesses like yours that make things that consumers want and which creates some incentives for those who do not to do better. This is, of course, not easily done. On the one hand, we must prevent anti-competitive practices such as cartels, exclusionary conduct by dominant firms, anti-competitive mergers, and conduct by governmental institutions which perhaps inadvertently burden competition. And we must do this in a way that does not burden people who are trying to become more competitive, that are finding new and better ways to bring good things to the market. It is very easy to go into a highly regulatory mindset and overdo our job. So we must be very careful not to do that. We have a couple of key tools in doing that. One is by very rigorous economic analysis of both our work and also the business practices. And another important tool is a very transparent engagement with the firms themselves. Events such as this are truly wonderful because they promote the kind of dialogue between the authorities and the business community, and at the level of individual investigations, that kind of dialogue and transparency is also important, so we better understand what businesses are trying to do. Now, we bring to this our own experience. We have been over 100 years at the Federal Trade Commission, and in that time we have had some successes. We've had the occasional failure, and we're very happy to have other jurisdictions benefit from that experience. We have discovered the general shape of the wheel. We think round is good, and we are happy to not have to reinvent that. But it goes beyond that. There is a world practice. The International Competition Network, of which Yuri spoke, has studied many of these areas and have come up with recommended practices which represent a consensus of over 130 countries in the world with competition legislation. And by implementing these kinds of consensuses, we are able to better make the same rules which will govern business no matter whether they are in the United States, in Ukraine, in Africa, in small island countries in the Pacific. Another important group for finding this kind of consensus is the OECD. Now, as Yuri mentioned, we're very proud to be opening a new level of cooperation between the FTC and the Anti-Monopoly Committee. We, with the support of the U.S. Agency for International Development, we are instituting a project to help strengthen the capacity of the AMCU. This will include having a team of advisors who will be resident here in Kyiv. Two of the three are here, Stuart Hirschfeld, my colleague from the FTC, a lawyer, and Dr. John Hilke, an economist who has been many years with the FTC. The third member of the team will be a Canadian, Stefan Luciu, who will be adding his expertise to this. We will also be working closely with the OECD. The OECD has conducted a peer review some years ago. UNCTAD did as well, and OECD will be conducting a project to review how well Ukraine has implemented the recommendations from the previous program with an eye to bringing Ukraine's practices more in line with those of the world. We will also be working very closely with the European Union, which has its own project. We have started a dialogue with them to make sure that our goals are completely aligned. We very much support the idea of Ukraine's alignment with European principles, and we are completely in accord on our shared goals on that. So in all of this, we are very confident that we have a partner with whom we have a shared vision, which is through free competition, we can protect the incentives to make the free market promise come through. Those promises are of a more productive economy and more prosperity, which ultimately is felt by the consumers of Ukraine and makes for a better world for us all. Спасибо большое. Okay.
Thank you very much, Russell.